Hi guys, I'm Dr. Tom Dawson, and today I want us to talk a little bit about gender dysphoria, hormones, and sex changes. And I want to apologize in advance for reading much of this. Usually in the videos, we're talking about things that I have a ton of experience with. This is an area that doesn't come up as frequently in private pediatric practice, but nonetheless, I think that it deserves some comment. So forgive the reading. I try to avoid political issues in my practice because that's not why most people go to the doctor. I feel that while I'm not a priest, I do feel like this is a calling, and I feel that that politics interferes with that calling. But I feel that there's some issues that warrant discussion. And so, first of all, when you hear that all pediatricians endorse hormones and sex change operations for gender dysphoria, well, that's just not true. To oversimplify, there's two kinds of doctors. One that enjoys political medicine, and a much larger group that enjoys taking care of people, but would prefer to avoid politics. Obviously, the first group is quite vocal and garners all the press, but I find myself in the second group, but will still share a different perspective. While I do believe that boys and girls are different, there is no question that there are some children where the lines are blurred. Not just children that are born with ambiguous genitalia, meaning not quite boy parts and not quite girl parts, but I've even had a beautiful girl with all the girl parts and demeanor, who we didn't find out that she was a genetic male until she failed to have periods when she was 16 years old. But these kind of conditions are rare. I've also had a few children who seem to be opposite from their apparent gender from the time that they could talk. But these children are also quite rare. And while certainly we all recognize there's a wide range of masculinity and femininity within both boys and girls, that's just the normal range that exists in everything, and that's certainly not a problem. I feel the larger issue occurs in a teenager with gender dysphoria. While this diagnosis is in vogue right now, I feel that it's rarely present by itself and is usually a component of overall teen dysphoria or discontent with the world in general, which is quite common in adolescence. It's a time when almost all teenagers question how they fit in with society in general, and all have front row seats to the crazy physical and mental changes that they and their peers are going through. And they see the bodies of the opposite sex and their own sex that change in ways that they admire and envy. Who wouldn't have questions about your orientation when you admire and envy the body of one of your same-sex friends? So, if these teen years are such a roller coaster of thoughts, feelings, urges, emotions, and change, I fear outsiders stepping in at any point in the journey and declaring that this is the end point of their journey. I had a great teenage boy uh, who cross-dressed and wanted to be a girl for a few years. Later suffered from some anorexia and finally decided that he wanted to be a boy. And he was very articulate and mature about discussing the various factors that shaped his journey. And while most people hate teenagers, I think that they're tons of fun and that they just need to, that we just need to be supportive of their journey. So thank God he didn't have an operation or medication that would have prevented him from completing his journey himself. In a moment to talk about hormones. Since the first few years of my practice, I felt that hormones are perhaps the most underestimated medications that we use, and the group that perhaps I fear the most. Frequently, infant girls have a condition where their labia fuse together during the first year of life, and we would apply a tiny bit of estrogen cream to the area for just 2 times a day for a couple of weeks, and then magically the area would open up in response to that topical therapy. If a mom didn't pay attention to the instructions and continued to apply the cream for a few more weeks afterward, that same little baby would start growing pubic hair. So that's a pretty strong medicine. And if you've ever known anyone who went through significant menopause, then you would respect the effect that hormones have, not just physically but psychologically. The point is, hormones are very strong medicines which do shape us both physically and mentally. If we give these hormones to teens, then we're changing and shaping their journey from the outside, and preventing them from completing their journey themselves. And I feel like we're just not wise enough to do that. So my last comment is that anyone who's ever lived with a teenager knows that they should not be in charge of making significant or life-changing decisions, which is why we don't let them get married or vote or drink alcohol until they're adults. And I just feel like that they need to complete their journey before they take on these types of decisions. And I feel the same is true for changing their sex before they're adults. So something for you to think about. It's just one person's opinion, but I have seen a lot of children.